Hey friends, so let's try to decode this particular mysterious model called as Ikigai, which is a Japanese word, the meaning of which is the reason for being and the reason to jump out of bed every morning. Do watch this video till the end because I'm having a special offer for all of you who watched till the end. The particular matrix or the Venn diagram begins right at the top with his activities that you love to do, and that begins right here. What are those activities that you really love to do? What are your hobbies? What are those activities which give you joy? And that's the list that we need to bring out in our own specific lives. And then from here we move to the right. So which of those activities are we really good at? And it's not necessary that all the things that you love, you may be good at it. So which is why we need to funnel it down from what you love to what you're really good at. And then we go to the left. So which of these activities or tasks that you have or skill sets are the ones that the world needs? And finally we go below. All of these particular activities, which are the ones you can be paid for? So you notice this is a spiral movement and the activities keep reducing until you come up with that one or two activities which once you circle around, you reach the center point, which is your Ikigai, your reason for being, the reason to jump out of bed every morning. A lot of times people start right below. What can you be paid for? Or they start in the left. What are the things that the world needs? The entire education system runs mostly on this half of the diagram. Ideally, we should be running on the upper part. We need to begin right at the top, activities that you really love to do, and then go all the way somewhere to the down. There are 10 secrets to the Ikigai, and each of the secrets are extremely powerful and extremely potent. I'm going to share the secret with all of you in a form of a PDF document. I'd request you to subscribe to this channel as well as write a small comment below, and I'll be sending this to you as a PDF. The 10 secrets of Ikigai. Thank you so much for watching.
And here would like to welcome you and also offer our gratitude in keeping aside your busy schedule so that you could be with us. To everybody here, we have Mr. Deepak Verma, and this session today is it is Reinvent Yourself During and After Lockdown. This session by Deepak Verma, who is a founder at Technospirit, creator of Speakerology, and Healy Pie, president of Toastmasters. It's going to be a session that is going to be focused basically on Ikigai. Learn the secrets behind this ancient wisdom and how it can change your life. Myths, new trends, and secrets of success. How does one redefine problems and move ahead successfully? New skills needed in the emerging world. Without wasting much of your time, I hand over the session to Deepak sir. Look forward to learning so much from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. And just wanted to quickly check, should it be simple English or a mix of English and Hindi?
English should be fine.
Okay. I'll keep it as simple because I just wanted to check. I've been to Nepal before, so I want to check before I start. So thank you so much, Rashmi and Tanka sir, for this beautiful invitation. And what I'll be doing is I'll be muting all of you for the next few minutes, which is almost 40 minutes or so, while I run this particular session, post which I will open up to question answers. And in case there's any other discussion, I can take it ahead. So that's the plan that I have in mind as we start. So I'm going to share my screen and here we go. So reinventing yourself during and after the lockdown. Very interesting topic, and I've been running the sessions in various places, being a trainer and a coach, a life coach, and as well as running the programs like Healify. This comes in as one of the most sought after sessions as to what exactly is this change all about, and how can we really ensure that this change can this change can really take us into the next direction. So this is the real way of how we can really win and not really get disturbed by what's happening around us. So a lot of change that's happening around us, and it's important that we keep adapting to the change and also molding ourselves towards the change. I thought I'd begin with a personal story, which um, which I like to begin with because I was born and brought up in Pune, which is a small one of the small cities in India, and we lived in apartments like you see the one in the image, and the smaller boy is me. So that's me at the age of 8 or 9, and if you noticed, I practiced social distancing even then, unconsciously. So I was a very shy boy, as by from my birth, and filled with a lot of doubt. I could hardly speak in public, a very confused existence, and for a large portion of my life, I've lived in this particular, very shy nature that I had for a large part of my childhood, as well as teenage, as well as young adult life. And it's only in the last many years or so that I have started these kind of platforms. So it might come out quite surprising that such a person can become a coach and a trainer. And it's my advice to all the young people that anytime you can transform. So I look at it from my own personal experience. At any point of time, students, adults at any age can change and turn around, and that's the first thought that I wanted to manifest out to you. The second is, if you remember, in 2015 there was a flood in Chennai, and my house was flooded with 6 feet of water. So I lost almost everything, including my TV, laptop, a lot of bedding, furniture, etc. And so we had to kind of rebuild from scratch. So in fact, I shifted cities to Kerala, which is my hometown. And guess what? In 2018, there was another flood in Kerala. And so jokingly, they call us a flood family. But luckily, this time in Kerala, the flood did not enter my house, but of course, it did enter a lot of other houses, including my organization. And so floods have been quite natural to me in the last 4 or 5 years. In fact, I've been getting a lot of invites from some deserts to go and live there for free, and to ensure that rains and floods come in. Anyway, that's a joke, but the point here is that you can rebuild your life again from scratch. So this is what floods taught me. When things are gone and off, and you think that everything is broken down, I even lost my passports, etc. But everything came back. You can all get it all back, and got a better laptop, a better TV. Everything came back much better than before. So we don't need to really worry about any catastrophes that hit us, because if we stay cool, calm, and positive, we can actually pull it all back. And that's the first lesson that I learned from these particular incidents that happened in my life on successive occasions. Coming to the particular topic that we have, again, I'm thanking the Human Capital Professionals Development Nepal for the beautiful invitation, in which in the next 30-40 minutes or so, I'm going to run these particular topics: myths and new trends, Ikigai, and new skills needed. I'm also the author of a book called The Joyful Quotient, and I'm going to run some portions of what I've written in that book. Incidentally, that book is Amazon bestseller in the category of positivity and self-help. So let's begin with these particular topics in this sequence of what are the kind of myths, new trends in the current world, and we move on to Ikigai, as well as the new skills that would probably be needed going forward, both for right from the age of 16, 17, all the way upwards. What are the kind of change sets that we need to make in our mind? So let's begin with the myths. And the myths are very simple, and you'll see it, streaking across all the papers. The New York Stock Exchange is down. India Stock Exchange also is down. The whole world is reeling towards one of the largest financial collapses since the 1950s. Initially, they told 2008, but then they went back and said it's probably the largest in the last 60, 70 years. A lot of companies closing down, and this is something that you'll hear, that it's the end of the world, and there's possibly a financial doom that is lurking in the near horizon. And this also will lead to, things like nobody will buy or invest. But if you notice, the title of this particular slide is called The Myth. So I want to actually prove it that it's just only a myth. So is it really the end of the world? Is it doom, and will nobody ever buy and invest? So let's try to understand what exactly is the truth behind it. So it's a beginning of a new world, and this is something that everybody agrees on. While it may be the end of some other world, it's a beginning of a new world, and we need to learn the rules of the new world as we go ahead. So it's a beginning of a beautiful new world that is emerging, much more cleaner and purer. Yes, there is a financial reset button, which we need to understand, adhere to, and respect. In this new world, what are the new policies and how are things, moving ahead? But we must remember, and I learned this a while ago, with my coach from the US, that as long as people are there, there is a need to be fulfilled. And as long as there's a need to be fulfilled, there will be purchases or there will be investments. But the only catch in this case is that people will buy and invest differently. And that word differently is very important to understand, that the mode of purchases, investments, etc., might be a little different when we enter the new world. So there was an existing world that was there, and now when we open up in the month of June, July, or whenever it is completely, it will be a new world, and we need to grapple with what exactly are the policies of this particular new world. How will people behave, and what exactly will people have? What are the kind of mindsets which people will have? What will be the changing mindsets of people? Certainly, in the next 6 to 8 months, in every field, it will only be essentials and necessities, beginning from travel, beginning from food, beginning from construction, you name it. There will be a lot of focus on essentials and necessities. So you need to identify your own portfolio. If either you're an employee or a businessman, or even if you're a student, you need to move into that part of your liking, which is essentials and necessities. There will certainly be a future proofing of work and life. So that's the second part. And certainly, initially, there'll be a lot of short term thinking. And I tell all this through my own personal experience, because when I went through the floods and I came out, I noticed that this was the mindset that people had for a long period of time. And this continued for some time. So this is critical to understand the changing mindset of people. We need to tap into it. So if you look at it, myths, the truth, and the changing mindset. So while there is a change in the world that's happening, in my own industry, business, profession, or skill sets that I'm having, beginning from education all the way till construction, manufacturing, artist, or whatever it is, what are the kind of mindsets that will be there, and how will we really go ahead for it? And that's what leads us to our changing mindset. What will be our changing mindset to handle this change mindset ahead of you? So if you look at it, the earlier thoughts were what can I get, and how can we close? So this is the older mindset of trying to work our way around businesses, as well as various other skill sets and all that we have. What can I get? How can I close? And these are the two typical topics we used to have. But now we need to change to what can I give? What can I give to help people? And what can I give in order that people benefit? And how can I help you? So these are the two small changes that we need to make in our own mindset. Again, it's across all professions. It doesn't matter whoever's listening to this, whatever profession you're in, the questions need to slightly change. It was always the right questions, but we never used it. But now we need to get into this new world with the right questions of what are the skill sets which I can give and how can I really help. So this is a small session I had done on change management for a leading steel manufacturer, and I run these sessions at various places on Zoom platform, exactly like this, but it's a little more interactive, which means it's a smaller group, and I ensure that it's a little interactive.
मार्केट में पहला पॉइंट मेरा ये है सर कि पेमेंट मेथड जो है पीपल्स विल नॉट प्रेफर द कैश ट्रांजैक्शंस, दे विल बिलीव ऑन द बिल ट्रांजैक्शंस, ये एक चेंजेस आएगा। सेकंड ये है कि कंपनीज जो है वो क्रेडिट जो हम देते हैं मार्केट में वो उसको रिड्यूस करेगी एज पर दी कस्टमर, और वी कैन से एज अ डीलर की रिलायबिलिटी कितनी है, वो कितना लॉयल है कंपनी के लिए, उसके बेस पे क्रेडिट लिमिट्स काफी रिड्यूस होंगी। पहले ये एक सेकंड चेंजेस है। थर्ड है कि जो फंड फ्लो जो है मार्केट का, आइदर कैश और on account, still will blockage is there from customer hand also, from dealer hand also for few months. Another is a social step.
तो मैंने अभी देखा कि मिक्स ऑफ हिंदी इंग्लिश भी चाहिए तो बढ़िया होगा। तो both come quite naturally to me. So what I will do is I will mix up both of these as we move ahead. तो हम लोगों ने अभी शुरुआत से कवर किया है मिथ्स, न्यू ट्रेंड्स एंड चेंजिंग माइंडसेट। किस तरह से कई बार हम लोग मिथ्स सोचते हैं कि दुनिया जो है एंड होने वाला है एक्सेट्रा, या कोई खरीदेगा एक्सेट्रा, लेकिन ट्रूथ जो है लोग खरीदेंगे लेकिन अलग तरह से खरीदेंगे। एक नई जो है युग आने वाली है, इस तरह से एक चेंजिंग माइंडसेट है जो हम लोगों को समझना है, और ये चेंजिंग माइंडसेट में हम लोगों का रोल क्या होगा, उस तरह से हम लोगों को देखना है कि किस तरह से हम लोग दे सकते हैं और किस तरह से हम लोग मदद कर सकते हैं। तो ये मुख्य चीज़ थी मिथ्स एंड न्यू ट्रेंड्स एंड चेंजिंग माइंडसेट में। तो इसी के साथ हम लोग आते हैं सीक्रेट्स ऑफ सक्सेस, एंड दिस इज द सेकंड टॉपिक व्हिच आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेक। तो ये काफ़ी पुराना एक चीज़ है, इट्स अ वेरी ओल्ड डायग्राम व्हिच इफ यू नोटिस कि हम लोगों को फोकस करना है, वी नीड टू फोकस ऑन थिंग्स व्हिच मैटर एंड व्हिच वी कैन कंट्रोल। एंड ये दो जो गोल है, थिंग्स दैट मैटर एंड थिंग्स दैट यू कैन कंट्रोल। कई बार हम लोग वही चीज़ पे फोकस करते हैं जो हमें मैटर नहीं करता है, या कई बार हम लोग वो चीज़ पे फोकस करते हैं जो हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते हैं। लेकिन हम लोगों को इन दोनों का मिक्सचर देखना है कि क्या क्या वो चीज़ें हैं जो हम लोगों को मैटर करता है और जो हम लोग कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट मैटर टू अस एंड विच वी कैन कंट्रोल। एंड वो जो छोटा आर्च है, वो जो छोटा पोर्शन है, दैट इज द वन दैट वी शुड फोकस ऑन। एंड मैंने इसी प्रकार एक और दो गोल बनाए हैं एग्जैक्टली बेस्ड ऑन दिस, लेकिन इसमें थोड़ा और फोकस लाया है, अबाउट लिटिल मोर फोकस इनटू दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट which says that we need to focus on problems that matter and also which you can control. तो कई बार हम लोगों के पास समस्याएं बहुत है जो हम लोग या तो हम लोग कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते हैं या हमको मैटर नहीं करते हैं। लेकिन हम इन दोनों का जो मिलन है, जो छोटा सा गैप है इन दोनों में, उस पर जो है अगर फोकस किया, दैट इज द वे फॉरवर्ड। वही है मेन सीक्रेट ऑफ सक्सेस, क्योंकि इसी में सारा टाइम हम लोगों का निकल जाता है। वी फोकस अलॉट ऑन प्रॉब्लम्स दैट डोंट मैटर टू अस, या प्रॉब्लम्स दैट वी कैन नॉट कंट्रोल। एंड काफ़ी बड़ा बिग सर्कल है दोनों, बट द स्मॉल स्लिवर ऑफ पोर्शन अगर हम लोगों ने उस पर फोकस किया तो हम लोगों का टाइम काफ़ी सेव हो जाएगा, एंड वील बी मोर इफेक्टिव एंड मच मोर प्रोडक्टिव इन वॉट एवर वी डू। So try to focus on only that small area of problems which matter and which you can control. So that is very important, matter and which you can control. So let's take some examples, and the need is actually to redefine your problem. It is necessary to redefine our problem. So in the banking industry, I've just taken a couple of industries. The banking industry, the rising interest rate is really not a problem. ये किसी और की प्रॉब्लम है, ये किसी और का समस्या है जिन्होंने ये किया है राइजिंग इंटरेस्ट रेट। तो हम लोग का प्रॉब्लम क्या है, हम लोग को रीडिफाइन करना है Our inability to handle this is the real problem. हम लोगों का जो inability है ये handle करने के लिए, और ये जो rising industry जो हो रहा है हम लोग handle नहीं कर पा रहा है, वो actually असली problem है. उसको tackle करो. अगर आप कुछ और चीज tackle कर रहे हो तो it is actually problems which we cannot control. Okay, so you have to refocus, redefine the problem in which we can control. एक और एग्जांपल लेंगे एक और इंडस्ट्री से, जैसे मान लो सेल्स में है, कस्टमर फुटफॉल इज लो और सेल्स इज लो. ये कई बार होता है, स्पेशली जो सेल्स में है कि क्लाइंट्स जो है आ नहीं रहे हैं और सेल्स काफ़ी लो है. तो ये एक आम समस्या है सबका, लेकिन ये एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Our inability to create the right environment or sales strategy is a real problem. हम लोगों का जो inability है वो जो environment create करना ताकि customer footfall आए, या sales strategy हम लोगों ने create नहीं किया है सही तरह से, वो असली problem है. So आप अगर देखेंगे, we are actually going from the outside to the inside. We are actually focusing more on bettering ourselves rather than trying to complain or blame about things happening outside ourselves. एंड इनफैक्ट अगर टाइम है तो इसके और 50-100 एग्जांपल्स आसानी से दे पाएंगे. इनफैक्ट Q&A में अगर आपका कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो आप बोल सकते हो और विल ट्राई टू रीडिफाइन इट. वर्डिंग को चेंज कर सकते हैं एंड आपका पूरा माइंडसेट चेंज हो जाएगा. इट विल मूव फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड टू द इनसाइड एंड फिर उसके बाद कंट्रोल में आ जाएगा. सो इट इज ऑलवेज प्रॉब्लम्स दैट यू कैन कंट्रोल एंड विच मैटर टू यू. तो ये था सेकंड पॉइंट ऑन रीडिफाइनिंग द प्रॉब्लम. ये एक छोटा सा session है on benefits, advantages and features, and this is again done on Zoom for a small group. किस तरह से benefits, किस तरह advantages और features एक product का हम लोग देख सकते हैं. So you'll see the screen coming up and ये तो हम लोग का हो गया. So benefits, advantages and features, इसको also कहते हैं BAF. काफी फेमस है ये सेल्स टेक्निक्स में. FAB, BAF. म्यूट कर देता हूँ. या FAB या BAF. एंड कई बार जो है हम लोग शुरू करते हैं फीचर्स. ये एक्चुअली इट्स इन लाइन विद द 7 सीक्रेट्स, जॉर्डन बेलफोर्ड, वुल्फ ऑफ वॉल स्ट्रीट, एग्जैक्टली द सेम. कई बार हम लोग शुरू करते हैं फीचर्स के साथ और फिर जाते हैं एडवांटेजेस और फिर जाते हैं बेनिफिट्स के ऊपर. फीचर्स, एडवांटेजेस, बेनिफिट्स. लेकिन एक्चुअली हम लोगों को उल्टी तरफ से जाना है. हम लोगों को पहले बेनिफिट्स देखना है. व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स, देन कम टू एडवांटेजेस एंड देन कम टू फीचर्स. काफी सिंपल टेक्निक है, लेकिन इसमें मैं लाइव एक किस्सा सुनाता हूँ जो मेरे साथ हुआ है कई साल पहले, 8-10 साल पहले. हम जब चेन्नई में थे तो मुझे कॉल आया था, एक टेलीकॉलर कॉल आया था जो एक्चुअली वो क्रेडिट कार्ड बेच रहा है. लेकिन उसने कैसे इंट्रोड्यूस किया, अगर वो बोलता मुझे कि मैं SBI क्रेडिट कार्ड से हूँ और आपको क्रेडिट कार्ड बेचना है तो मैं तुरंत कॉल काट देता. तो ये शुरू किया कि उस समय हम काफी ट्रेन ट्रैवल करते थे. 2008 की बात है. हम चेन्नई से बैंगलोर, चेन्नई टू केरला, चेन्नई टू हैदराबाद, काफी ट्रेन ट्रैवल करते थे. तो उन्होंने ये शुरू किया बोलना कि IRCTC से आपका काफी बुकिंग है. उन्होंने काफी इंटेलिजेंस किया था. उन्होंने काफी इंटेलिजेंस गैदर किया था. उन्होंने बोला कि मैं देख रहा हूँ आपने IRCTC में काफी बुकिंग किया है और आप हर वक्त 2.5% पे कर रहे हो अपने कार्ड पे. तो मेरे पास एक तरकीब है जिससे आप ये 2.5% पे करें. So just a small example I gave on benefits, advantages, features. This is a small testimony from the country head of Hewlett Packard.
The inner transformation workshop that Deepak conducted for us at HPE was very useful. I think TechnoSpirit has done a great research on how to transform leaders identifying their inner self and transform to perform in the VUCA world. So he's taught us on how to listen not just to the sounds that you hear, but even to the signs that people kind of send signals during their communications. He spoke quite a lot on empathy. He spoke about leadership and what is required today when working in teams. He did cover the most important MTR, the mutual trust and relation, mutual trust and respect aspect of every individual, especially when they work in a meshed organization. And he did, emphasize on not just negotiation, but how would a negotiation land in a win-win on both sides, which is very important for each one of us in today's professional world, and also on the personal side of your life, right? And finally, the 16 cap example that you took up was, I think, very, very useful. We would definitely apply that in our day-to-day professional life. And thanks to Deepak and TechnoSpirit.
Cool. So that was a short couple of videos. I just thought I'll break the monotony on ensuring this. So let's move on to what exactly are new skills required in the emerging world. And it's important to try to learn to uncover your superpowers. And I'm going to come to it right in a minute. It's extremely critical you hear this out exactly as it is. So I'm going to begin with a short movie. And this movie is called as Castaway. एक काफी फेमस मूवी है कास्टअवे. जस्ट अगर किसी ने देखा नहीं है तो देख सकते हैं हम. So this revolves around a person who has been cast away on an island. 4 साल के लिए एक हीरो है जो कुरियर कंपनी में काम करता है और उसका प्लेन क्रैश होता है एंड वो एक आइलैंड में कहीं तो साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में कहीं तो जो है इकलौता आइलैंड में वो 4 साल उसको रहना है एंड काफ़ी डिप्रेस्ड है वो. पहले साल रहा, दूसरे साल रहा, फिर एक पॉइंट पे ही थॉट ओके लेट मी कमिट सुसाइड. एक बार सोचा कि अब बहुत हो गया, कब तक रहेंगे ऐसे अकेले आइलैंड पे. तो ही ट्राई टू कमिट सुसाइड. लेकिन तो उन्होंने एक स्टिक लिया, बड़ा सा स्टिक लिया, लॉग लिया एंड उन्होंने डाला वो लॉग ट्री के ऊपर सुसाइड कमिट करने के लिए. लेकिन ट्री ब्रेक हो गया. सो द ट्री ब्रोक एंड वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. तो आफ्टर द ट्री ब्रोक ही डिडंट नो व्हाट टू डू, क्योंकि जो इकलौता रोप और सब लिया था सुसाइड करने के लिए. सो द ट्री काइंड ऑफ ब्रोक एंड once it broke, he was just wondering, what to he was just wondering what to do. And then the answer came to him at that point of time, what is to be done. And 4 years later, when he went back to, when he somehow got saved by a chance, and he went back to US, he had again, when back to US, again he had lost his girlfriend who had moved on and married somebody else. So again his life was at crossroads. And he says that I was totally devastated, but there's only one answer that I have, one way of moving ahead. And he gives a long pause in the movie. If you notice, he gives a very long pause in the end, asking, this is the way that I need to move ahead. And this is the answer he gives. I just need to keep breathing. So I just need to keep breathing to ensure that okay, why is the session coming in Hindi? Okay, fine. So I just need to keep breathing, because if I keep breathing, you never know what the next day's tide will bring in. So that is a primary focus of this particular movie. And even we as individuals, we just need to keep breathing. Even when I lost everything at Chennai in the floods, I just needed to keep breathing, because within a year or two, I pulled it all back. So similarly, at any point of time in your life, if you're feeling things are going away, this is one single answer: just breathe. It's a complete solution to everything that can be done. Just breathe. I'd also recommend each of you to go to this particular website, Heartfulness Relaxation, the Heartfulness org, and this gives 3 free masterclasses which also ensures that we understand exactly how we can introspect and create a much more stronger interior within us, because we need to learn how not to react, but how to respond, how to handle various situations that happen around us. And this particular website gives it in Toto, the heartfulness.org website. And as you go through these sessions, you will feel much more relaxed as it is. It's all free of cost. So please go ahead, register, and you can do it. Coming back to superpowers, there is a need to rotate around your pivot. I'm going to come to it right in a minute. So I mentioned, what are the new skills required and how can we really uncover our skill sets. So there's a need to rotate around the pivot. And I'm going to give you 8 questions. Please note down these 8 questions and try to resolve it in the next few days, because you have a lot of time on your hands. And each of these questions are extremely powerful. I use it in my coaching also. And the first of the questions is, what are you ridiculously, amazingly good at? Okay. तो क्या चीज़ है जो आप बहुत बेहतरीन से कर सकते हो? So what are you ridiculously, amazingly good at? So that's the first question. And I'm going to link it to Ikigai as we go ahead. The second one is, what do your clients say they love the most about you? So now we're getting into clients, and we need to kind of think, what exactly do your clients say they love the most about you? The third one, think of a peak experience that you had recently. And that's the third of the questions. Before February, I'm not talking about during this last 2 months. I'm saying a peak experience that you had recently. And the last one of 4 questions is, who do you like to work with and why? Now, if you look at these 4 questions, the first 4 questions, what are you good at? What do your clients say they love the most about you? Think of a peak experience, and also who do you like to work with and why? This gives a lot of insight into your work style and your behavior. But it's actually multiplied by the next 4 questions. जो मैं दिखाने वाला हूँ, और I'm just going to show you the next slide. The next 4 questions are a little more deeper than these 4. And each of those questions are again as deep as possible. The first one is, describe a time you got into trouble and how you got out of it. It can be even from your childhood, teenage, whatever time, you got into trouble and got out of it. So you'll actually be able to analyze how you behaved, and what is the thing that you were really good at. How were you recognized as a kid? So this is what I use for inner child healing. How were you recognized really as a kid, and what is it that is there? Because a lot of those traits will remain even now unless we change it or we transform it. What do other people tell you is your biggest quirk or idiosyncrasy? So quirk or idiosyncrasy, it means your biggest character trait, or your what are you known as in your family or social circles? Disciplined, or fastidious, perfect, or those kind of things. Always on time, always not on time. What are the things? So what is the biggest character trait, quirk, or idiosyncrasy? So this is the third. But the fourth one, which is also the 8th of it all, is extremely, extremely powerful. And if you actually do this, I recommend each of you must do this. I recommend this to all my coaches, that go to 3 of your loved ones. 3 people very close to you. 3 लोग जो आपसे काफी नजदीक है. It could be your parents, your spouse, your very close friend, or your son and daughter. I would actually recommend son and daughter first. If they're above 10, go with them in a piece and paper. Go with a paper and a pen, and tell them that I'm doing some coaching somewhere, and I need you to answer this question for me. So just hear me out correctly. You have to go to somebody who loves you the most, and go with a pen and paper, and just tell them, I need to note down 5 things, and whatever you're going to say, I'm going to actually send it to somebody. You can just say, you know, somebody, some coach that you have somewhere, and ask this question, which I'm going to display on the screen. What am I good at? Now, I'm not going to go into the science of this, but it's amazing. It's actually, this science is based on the Johari window, which is, you know, things which people know and you don't know, etc. And very specifically, I ask people very close to you, because, and everybody, it's amazing. This particular, if you just do this one thing, even if you don't do the rest, you'll come up with some insight which you never knew before. As I said, it's based on the Johari window, but you don't need to know the science behind it. It works. It works. In fact, even if your son and daughter is 9 or 10 years old, go to them first. I would suggest go to them first. Ask this question. It has to be done seriously, but because the catch with if you don't do it seriously is it is taken as very casual, because people very close to you who love you a lot, they may not answer it. You know, they may say, hey, okay, chalo yaar, you know, chai pee lo, you know, or go and have you know, come, let's go ahead. It has to be done very seriously. So that's the catch. If you don't do it seriously, you'll not get the answers. So you have to do exactly as I told you, pen and paper, very serious, and tell them that you're sending to somebody else. Then they will answer. And so this is, you know, one thing that I recommend, you know, each of you do. So let's go to our favorite topic, one of my favorites, and I've done a lot of research on this particular theme, which is also called as the Ikigai. What is Ikigai? Ikigai means a reason for being, a reason to live, the reason to jump out of a bed every morning. So, हम लोगों का जीवन का मतलब, you know, the reason to live, and that is it's a Japanese word, and in Japanese the translation is exactly this: a reason for being, or a reason to live, a reason to jump out of bed every morning. That is the exact translation, and it goes on this particular image, which is very famous, but not everybody understands this image. So I'm actually going to try to run you through this image. There are 4 circles, if you notice, you know, and the first circle is things that you love. The first circle is things that you love. If you can see my arrow mark, so this entire yellow circle is you know, things that you love, and then we have the next circle to the left, which is things that you're good at, skill sets that you're good at, and then you have to go horizontally to the right, and there we come what the world needs, and then we go down on what you can be paid for. So this is a sequence: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. And this follows a very long process, and normally my sessions on Ikigai itself is 3 to 4 hours, because it follows, there's a prelude called the 4 quadrants and the 4 questions, which help you to reach this particular central point. So let's try to understand. There are a lot of things that you love, but you may not be good at it. Okay, you may not be good at it. I love to dance, but I'm not good at dancing. I'll just give you an example, you know. I love to sing, but I'm not good at singing. Now, it has to be a combination of these two, which leads to the central point, which is the passion. So if you're good at dancing and you're also loving dancing and you're good at it, yes, then it's qualified as a passion. Now let's look at this side. There are things that you love and also what the world needs. You may not be good at it. Very interesting. You may not be good at it. So I love to work in some NGO, and luckily the world also needs it, but I'm actually not good at it. I'm just a passer, but because the world needs it, you are accepted, and that's actually called a mission. There's a mission around it. There are things that you are good at and also which you can be paid for. And maybe I'm excellent at accounting, and luckily I'm also getting money for it. So that's what is called as profession. And a lot of people are stuck here too. They don't love what they do, but since they are good at it and they're getting paid for it, they are, continuing on in a false thought that it's actually called as profession. So there are things that the world needs and what you can paid for. Another beautiful combination, and that is called as vocation. Now, the beauty of Ikigai is only when all the four of them come together. It's what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. It's only when all of them come together, you come to the central portion, which is the reason to jump out of bed every morning. Because you're doing those things that you love, which you're also luckily good at. The world also needs it, and is also getting paid for it. So this is a very short explanation. As I said, this session actually can go on for a few hours because so many complications in between. To reach your own personal Ikigai, it can take a lot of introspection and a lot of thought around it, a lot of talent. तो हम लोग के to reach our own Ikigai. जो हम लोग प्यार करते हैं, जो हम लोग अच्छे हैं कोई चीज़ में, जो दुनिया चाहते हैं और जिससे पैसे मिल सकता है, ये चार जो सर्कल्स है, इनका जो सेंटर पॉइंट है, that is called as Ikigai. अगर देखेंगे तो here there is satisfaction but feeling of uneasiness. Here there is delight and fullness but no wealth. And here, because these are a combination of three circles. ये जो small arc है, there is excitement but uncertainty. And here it is comfortable but feeling of emptiness. So even these small four arcs, you can understand it quite well in this. So it's only the central portion, and it can take many years, decades to understand what is your Ikigai. ये center point आने में काफी समय लग सकता है. It can take a lot of time, mixing, matching, experimenting. But you always start here. ये काफी जरूरी है, and if there are students in this call, as well as if there are parents of students or young adults, I would suggest you please start here. That's a hint I'm giving you. Start here with what you love. Identify 20 activities that you love. Okay. From here, you go here. Out of those things that you love, what you're good at. From here, you go here. Experiment. And from here, you go here. So it is always kind of horizontal diagonal movement, okay, that we need to do. Okay, so let's move on because the time is also pressing and there's a little more to be covered before I go on. This is extremely important, which we should not miss. The 10 secrets to a long life. The 10 Japanese secrets based on Ikigai for a very long life. And each secret I'll kind of try to explain briefly, and each one is amazing. Now, the first one, I normally put the image and then wait to see if anybody knows the answer. So the first one is very simple. Stay active and don't retire. Stay active and don't retire. Now, I see a lot of people wanting to retire at the age of 45, at the age of 40, sometimes the age of 37. They don't want to work. People want to first retire and then continue life. Okay. But the first secret of Ikigai is there is no retirement. Because when you are doing things that you love and which you're good at, what the world needs and what you can pay for, there is no question of retirement. You have to choose a profession which even at the age of 95, you will continue to do it. Okay, even at the age of 95, you will continue to do it. There's no question of retirement. Because you're doing something that you love. You cannot even think of any retirement. Only when you're doing a vocation or a profession, as I explained in the previous matrix, that you want to get away from it. You want to earn, a few billions, which काफी बड़ा पैसा रकम करके you want to put it, and then you want to retire. That's it. Now I'm retiring out. But man is a social animal, so we need to keep working on it. So let's look at the second secret. Each secret is amazing. So the second secret is leave urgency behind and adopt a slower pace of life. And luckily, in the last one and a half months, we are learning this the hard way. how to adopt a slower pace of life. No travel, no running around endlessly. When I was working in HP for many years. Every Monday morning, 6 o'clock flight out to Kerala. No idea why we're going. Just we take a flight. That's it. One flight ticket comes to me. Subah, 4 o'clock, get up. 4:30 off to airport. 6 o'clock flight. When we go there, we don't know why we are there. So continuous running. If you go to Bombay, some of the cities, continuous trains running, people jumping in, jumping out, trains in, trains out. All running. Nobody's knowing why they're doing it, but it's a huge run across. So we have to actually adopt a slow pace of life. It's very critical, and you'll actually be more productive in a slow pace of life. So hear me out for all those who feel that a fast life is important for productivity. Yes, sorry. A fast life is important for productivity. Actually, a slower life will make you much more effective and much more productive. So we have to kind of experiment and see. कोई proof नहीं है. There is no scientific proof, on these statements. You have to do your own experiment and see. Third secret, again, extremely important. I do this quite a bit. We have to eat only until we are 80% full. Excessive khana makes the whole system very, very heavy. This is a secret of Ikigai because it's complete. So there is a maxim in heartfulness which says that to be happy, eat in constant divine thought. Whatever you get, with due regard to honest and pious earnings. So this is the third secret of Ikigai, and also a secret of a long life. If you want a long life, the first, second, and this is the third, which leads us on to the fourth. And the fourth is surround yourself with good friends. Extremely important. Environment should be with good, positive friends. And which is why I love to be with people like Tankaji, and all my Shankar group friends, very good friends. You need to surround with good friends. I avoid people, who are negative, who are defeating attitude, whatever it is. I run away from them. I try to keep the positive, good people you can trust, mutual trust and respect, around you. So let's look at the fifth secret, and that's related to exercise. Get in shape through daily, gentle exercise. I really don't want to debate with various other people, but Ikigai very clearly says it has to be daily, it has to be gentle, which means all the fast, heavy gym movements or the speed movements, etc., and exercise is not really recommended by the Ikigai practitioners. They look at things like Tai Chi, yoga, very slow, simple movements, not the Zumba kind of movements. Again, I don't want to get into debate because I know many of you could be in heavy gym and Zumba, but this is the secret of Ikigai. Daily gentle exercise, as slow as possible. The sixth secret is somewhat related to the fourth, but it's to smile and acknowledge people around you. Extremely important. Smiling, acknowledging people, never be grumpy. Always have a smile around you as you move around. And in fact, I'd like to relate a particular statement made by Atizes, who's a management guru in the US. And he's traveled from US to Africa many, many times. He's an Israeli born in the US. So a lot of travel he's done. And he says that the amount of laughter that he sees in a developing country is far, far greater. The amount of laughter that he sees in a developing country is far, far greater than the laughter that he sees in a developed country in a single day. So I'm just going to There's somebody who is who is putting some drawings on this. I just need to. Yeah, I just request you not to draw on the thing. I have actually given rights to it, which is I'm just trying to clear it out. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, good. Since I run a lot of interactive workshops, I normally give rights to people to make changes in whatever I am displaying. Okay. So the sixth secret is smiling and acknowledging people around you. And then we go on to the seventh one, which is even more powerful than the rest. And that's extremely important. Of course, in Nepal, you're all connected to nature. Reconnect with nature. Reconnecting yourself with nature is the seventh secret. And the eighth one is giving thanks to anything that brightens our day and makes us feel alive. This is based on gratitude. Again, it's a huge chapter on gratitude, which you can go on talking, but as you are gratitude, feeling the gratitude to people, it kind of comes back to you. So giving thanks to things that brighten your day and makes you feel alive is the eighth one. And then we go on to the ninth one, which is living in the present moment. We should all be living at this moment right now, which is 5 p.m. Nepal time. Not be in the future thinking about your dinner or about tomorrow, nor in the past. So current moment, again, a lot of literature, a lot of books around it. So this is the ninth secret, living in the moment. And the 10th, of course, is to follow your own Ikigai. So these are the few secrets and of Ikigai. I hope you enjoyed it, because I'll just finish it off with a small story. Ikigai is very old, it's very ancient, but it became famous because of the story. So I thought I'll tell you the story. It's called as A Fox and the Hedgehog. The cunning fox and the innocent hedgehog. Hedgehog एक छोटा सा जानवर है. So the cunning fox and the innocent hedgehog is the title of the story, and this is based on Banerjee number 9 जो है. It is giving thanks to anything that brightens a day and makes us feel alive. जो it is based on gratitude. ठीक है. ये था ninth था sorry, living in the present moment, जो current moment में है. 10th था following the Ikigai. So coming back to the story, I'm also responding to the chats as we talk, so that's why I go here and there. So the fox and the hedgehog, the cunning fox and the innocent hedgehog. The wily fox wants to attack the hedgehog from all angles possible, from top, from down, from below, from bottom. He lays a trap. He jumps from the tree. He puts, a rope trap. All those things he will do, morning, afternoon, night, all kinds of things. The hedgehog has only one strategy. The hedgehog has only one strategy. It will roll itself up like a ball and put all its porcupines outside, all the spines outside. A single strategy. Hedgehog has only one strategy. So there are various things happening around us. We should have that single hedgehog theory strategy. And that is what this particular book, Good to Great by Collins, that is what the story is from. Jim Collins, Good to Great. 3 things: what you're passionate about, what you can be best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine. If you mix up all 3, it comes to the central point called as the hedgehog theory. And if you look at it, it is exactly a copy of the Ikigai, because Ikigai is what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what drives your money. And these 3 circles also give the same connotation. And it is only when he wrote this book in 2001 that people started to understand, try to go to the depth of the matter, and then they came to know what is Ikigai all about. So, small testimony from a Sapphire director at iBoomerang on my coaching. So, the coaching that I do at Techno Spirit, it's intuitive, simple, and practical. We run this every Thursday, and the engaging style grips the participants. I try to ensure a lot of interaction to ensure that people really, improve as it goes on. So, I'd like to leave you with a few questions. That do we really need help in getting into our personal Ikigai? Personal Ikigai is, trying to really understand what it is that can drive us till the age of 95 in a very happy, joyous manner, living a long life. Do I need help in setting smart goals which are customized to me? Goal setting using various methodologies, the 12-week year, etc. Do I need help in setting up my sales and marketing strategy in case you're part of a company? So this is something that I do, a lot of sales and marketing strategies also that I take care of. Can identifying my subconscious habits move me to a stronger tomorrow? As I said, I'm also a Healify coach, and I try to work on subconscious habits to move to a stronger tomorrow. And I also run global coaching with the US and Europe. So in case anyone wants to be connected to global individuals, you can connect to me to help you, assist you in your own goals. So these are a few of the questions. If any of the answers are yes, feel free to connect to me. I also run a program called Speakology, which is the art of speaking well, and that's where it is. So I'm very conscious of time. I know the time is 5:05 in Nepal. So if you want to take a giant leap, please connect to me at 98407-30391 or email me at hellodeepak@hotmail.com. I'd also request you to fill up a very simple feedback form. And for those who fill it up, we'll get an e-certificate to your email ID on this 1 hour that we have done. And the feedback form is at bit.ly/today's date, 7 May, SEVENMAY. I've kept it as simple as possible so that anybody can do it. bit.ly/SEVENMAY. So you can fill it up, the email ID will be asked there, and then we can issue a e-certificate to your email ID. And I'd like to really thank the Human Capital Development Professions Nepal for having given me the opportunity and to voice out my thoughts in the last 45-50 minutes. And I'd leave it open to Q&A. If there's anything that you have to ask about the previous topics or anything new that you want to ask, please feel free to ask. We still have time, and I'm actually going to unmute. Yeah, so Rashmi, you're unmuted. And anybody wants to have anything that they have to ask, feel free to ask. If there's anything on the Facebook which they've asked, please let me know, because I'm not parallelly seeing my Facebook. So if there's anything there, please copy paste to me here, but I can ask it here. Yes, so one of the questions, yeah, can we get the recorded video? Yeah, I'll be putting the recorded video. I'm recording this, so I'll give it here. Share it with Rashmi and Tanka. Yes, Tanka, sir. Yes, sir, Rashmi ji.
Thank you so much, Deepak sir. This was exceptionally good. I was looking forward to have more on Ikigai, because as soon as I was getting my interest ignited, suddenly I come to realize that we've run out of time. But hopefully we're going to have more sessions on this. I would request everybody else here, I can see a number of questions posted here. I would request everyone, those of us who are associated here in the Zoom session, if you have any questions to ask, you could go ahead. So is it coming to you privately? Are the questions coming to you privately, Deepak sir?
No, it's not coming. Can you just ask any of the questions if anybody's asking anything?
No, nothing in particular, except that the people asking for recorded video of the entire session.
Yeah, the chat on the Zoom I'm seeing. The chat on the Zoom. I'm talking about the questions. Any questions on Facebook? I'm missing out on those questions.
Deepak sir,
Let me quickly check.
हाँ जी, Tanka जी, बोलिए.
can you please copy and paste the link of feedback form in this chat room?
Oh yeah, sure. I will do that. I will do that.
Yeah.
Because some people has been confused, so that they can just feel and report back.
Sure. I'm just going to copy paste here.
Wonderful session, Deepak sir. I'm just watching here everything.
Oh, thank you. So this is I'm just copying it onto the chat here.
Chat, and yes, you can announce as well, and everyone can see here.
Yes.
So I'm sending to everyone. So feedback form.
Feedback form together with your email address and the number that you've given us. That would be convenient for everyone.
Okay.
So I've given everything, the feedback form as well as.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone has any question, please can raise your hand and ask. I think we have Deepak sir, we have still seeing here more than 28 participants over here.
Absolutely.
So anyone can ask a question so that you can reply. So just we can wait for additional 1 minute. If you have any question, then Deepak sir will be reply.
I'm seeing the first question: how to overcome with mental stress, knowing that there's a financial crisis.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to two things in my own presentation. The first one on mental crisis, I would recommend to practice this every day. It gives a lot of inner strength. You can go to this website, heartfulness.org, 3 free master classes. This is on generally how to create a much more stronger being within you. And coming to the question on how do we tackle, it's again going here. You need to focus on problems that matter and which you can control. So the financial crisis, I'm seeing the message, financial crisis is something you cannot control. It is beyond you. It is the governments or the authorities who have to handle whatever they have to handle. But how can I handle my own internal financial crisis is something that you need to look at. So we're actually, reducing the problem. Instead of making it sound very big, we have to redefine the problem into something very small. That is currently at the situation. How can I future-proof myself, and how can I ensure that I move ahead, in the right manner? So that's the answer to Amit. And I just have another thing. I suggest all of you to study the 7 habits of highly effective people. It's 7 habits, starting from procrastination all the way to the end. It's very, very good. I recommend each of you to read this. It's really good. And I see a third question coming up. Is Ikigai the book the same to what is in the presentation? Actually, no. The book has a lot of interviews with real Japanese people from this particular city that is there, a village in Japan called Okinawa. So what I did not tell you that this particular Ikigai has come from a small village called Okinawa, Okinawa. And the book Ikigai has a lot of interviews with those old people, the largest number of centenarians in the world. The largest number of centenarians in the world are in this particular small village, Okinawa. And that book has a lot of interviews. What I have created actually is culled out from various thoughts of my own thoughts, and I've created this entire structure of the secrets. There is also something called as the 4 quadrants and the 4 questions, and that's I've not covered that today. I'll cover that probably next time because that will take a longer duration. So that was the thing on Ikigai. Any other questions?
Deepak sir, I see a lot of thank you, Deepak sir, in the Facebook live watch that we have done from our sides as well. So wanted to share it with you. There's a lot of thank yous, and there are a couple of, are we going to have similar sessions again as well? So maybe we look forward to more sessions coming from you.
Absolutely, Rashmi, absolutely. Happy to connect with all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak sir, for your
So
wonderful
much.
session.
So I'd like to actually express my thanks to both Rashmi and Tanka, who have cordially invited me here, and that's the final vote of thanks I'd like to give both of them, and looking forward. So I made my first trip to Nepal in January 2020, and I was hoping to come back many times this year, but strangely, things happen in a different manner. So I'm hoping to meet all of you online, in the coming weeks and months to come. So
Thank you,
with
sir.
that, I'd like to sign off. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Deepak, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good day, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And so last week, I talked about, having clarity of purpose, otherwise known as vision, otherwise known as your why. And so this whole month of November, we're going to be offering this up for free. If you're in my sales team with iBoomerang, this is going to be free for you forever. But anybody else, after the end of November, we are going to start charging for this, because both Deepak and I, we charge thousands of dollars for our coaching, mentorship, and training. But we wanted to give this gift as a blessing, as an encouragement, to help you guys finish the year strong. So we'll have Deepak is going to take over now, and he's going to talk for 15 or 20 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. So Deepak, are you ready to take it away?
Yes, Louis. Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful start. So this week, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. And it's on something what I call, I hope you can see this. Can you see this on the screen? Louis, yeah, you saw it?
Yes, I can see it. I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Diamond
good,
leaders.
yeah.
I can see it.
Diamond leader. So I'm actually going to connect 3 different stories, and I thought we can, kind of take it from there. So, Lucy, Lisa, Sugam, and Vincent. So this is something called as Ikigai, and I thought I'll start with 4 questions. And you can actually answer these questions. You may have seen this before, but you can answer these questions maybe on a notepad or maybe in the chat box here. And the questions are very simple. The first question is, what do you love doing? And you don't need to think too much. You just need to keep writing whatever you think you love doing. It could be even flying kites, as crazy as that. It could be, solving computer puzzles. It could be anything. So, the model goes, the first question is, what do you really love to do? And so let's see, something seems to be coming up. So it follows with the second question. I'm kind of going to give a pause after every question just for you to absorb it, because it actually leads to the next question. And the next question actually is, what are you good at? So it's possible that you may love singing, but actually you're not good at it. Okay, I'm just giving a very simple example. Or you love acting, but you're probably not good at it, but you still love doing it. So it's the second question is, what are you good at? And it's a laundry list of answers you need to write. So these 4 questions, I suggest you can kind of just note it down and keep thinking of various answers that you can keep coming up, because it's finally all going to coalesce in. So what do you love doing? What are you good at? And this leads us to the third question. And the third question is, what does the world need? And related to whatever you're doing, what really does the world need? What is the needs, or what is it that you can bring a change into the world, or what exactly is the world looking for? What are the problems that you can solve? What is the value difference that you can create? And once you kind of absorb this question, it leads us to the final question, and that is, what can you be paid for? So these are the 4 questions, that you need to kind of get into it. And I'm actually going to show you a matrix where, it all comes in together, and then it will make all sense. So what do you love doing? What are you good at? what does the world need, and what can you be paid for. So this is actually part of a philosophy. It's called as Ikigai, and it comes from the Japanese concept, and it's they say, is the reason to jump out of bed every morning. So there needs to be a reason why you need to jump out of bed every morning. It's also the reason for being, and it came in from a small village called Okinawa, and seems to have the largest number of centenarians in the world. So there's some philosophy behind this, a bit of spirituality into this. Four simple questions, and if you see the next matrix, it actually puts it all in. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on this matrix, and just so that my mouse works. So this is the first question. If you remember, you wrote, what you love. I'm kind of circling it, and then you wrote the second question, what are you good at? And you can spend some time. This is not something to be finished in 10 minutes or half an hour. It'll take time to do it. And the third one was, what can you be paid for? Oh, sorry, what the world needs was the third one. And the last one is, what can you be paid for? And if you see this, and I do this at various workshops, it's amazing. It takes actually a long time. This entire thing can even go up to 90 minutes, or 120 minutes, because you really need to find a coalescence between all these four circles. So if you see, what you love and what you're good at, if you see the intersection, and that's called the passion. And then similarly, what you love and what the world needs, that's the mission. And you have the vocation, and then you have the profession. But it's actually the intersection of all these four circles right in the center, which is called as Ikigai. And this means a reason for being. And many times we miss this. Many of the students, or many of the young people, or many of the even young businessmen, etc., they just focus on this. What can you be paid for? They just focus on this, without realizing that you can never sustain a business without passion. You can never sustain a business without doing what you love. You can never sustain a business without being something that you're good at. So a lot of people just focus on this, or they just focus on this, social entrepreneurship, etc. They don't focus on all the four circles. And I found this beautiful, this entire matrix, and I keep doing this myself. It keeps changing, for me. It's very interesting that these four circles, and if you can do it for yourself, it'll keep changing as time goes on. A lot of clarity will come to you, and a lot of happiness will come to you into what you're doing. A lot of vision, mission will come into you, because I think I'll keep the surprise on. So I think you'll need to keep thinking of trying to do it for yourself, and it would be good to see what you come up with. And then, of course, you have the various circles around it. So Ikigai, they had a success mantra. It's a Japanese secret to a long life, and they had 10 success mantras. I'm just going to run it down, and we'll anyway have a recording of this, so you can take it later. So the first mantra was staying active and not retiring. So it's very important, because a lot of people sometimes say, okay, I'm 60, we need to retire at 60, we need to retire at 50. People today want to retire at 40, or they want to retire early, etc. But ideally, you should, if you're really doing, the reason they want to retire is because they're always in the lower matrix, what you can pay for. But if you're doing something that you love, you really don't want to retire even at 80. So you need to keep active, and ensure you don't retire. Leave urgency behind, and adopt a slower pace of life. And I just attended a session of Tai Chi, today, and it was amazing. So the way it can really benefit us, leading a simple, slower pace of life is amazing. It's actually faster than leading a rushed pace of life, because it keeps the energy flow, and it keeps us, very active and energetic for a longer period of time. So again, these are secrets, So the third one is, only eat until you're 80% full. So that's pretty interesting. Surround yourself with good friends, and we all know this. So the environment and how it affects us. Get in shape through daily gentle exercise, and we have multiple people here on this call, who know this important reason of daily gentle exercise. So it's very important. Smile and acknowledge people around you. Again, a lot of importance here. Reconnect with nature. Give thanks to anything that brightens our day and makes us feel alive. And Louis is going to do a similar session a couple of weeks later on gratitude, which will kind of emphasize the importance of this particular access aspect. Live in the moment without dwelling on the past or the future. Live in the current moment. And finally is, follow your reason for being, or also called as the Ikigai. And this is the first story which and I'm conscious of time. So this is the first story, which I'm going to thread it out to two other stories, which kind of link in to this particular story. And the second story is a very old parable. You must have heard of it. It's called the Fox and the Hedgehog. And the story goes as follows: that the fox has various strategies to try to kill the hedgehog, or to try to, outwit it. It tries various ways and means in multiple methods. And the hedgehog is only one strategy. It bundles up into itself, puts all its pokey, pokey skin, or the pokey pines outside itself, and that's it. Nobody can attack it, because the moment it bundles up its face into itself, and its entire body becomes like a ball of thorns, no animal can ever attack it. So the fox actually tries ways and means in multiple methods to try to attack it, from down, from top, by tempting it. But this hedgehog has just one single strength, and that strength is to roll itself up like a ball, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. And the reason I'm linking this, it links again back to the Ikigai, which is, the single reason for being, one single point, that is a combination of everything that you do, what you love, what you're good at, what you can pay, and what the world needs. And this particular second parable has again been extolled in a book written in 2001 by Jim Collins. And the book's name is Good to Great. And he gives this particular example of the hedgehog. And he mentions this exactly, that the fox is very distracted, very disillusioned, trying to go in multiple places, whereas the hedgehog is so focused. He has a singular vision, a singular mission, and he knows exactly what is to be done. And he only does one thing, and he does it perfectly well. So he's practiced that, like Bruce Lee says, you practiced one kick 1,000 times instead of practicing 1,000 different kicks. So the hedgehog has just practiced one strategy, but he's perfected it so well that that's the center of it all, and that's what protects it, from the foxes, even in real life. So Good to Great by Collins gives a reference to this particular story, extols the hedgehog, and gives a similar matrix, what we saw in the Ikigai. And here he talks about what you're passionate about, and this is where it is: what you're passionate about, what you can be best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine. And a combination of these three is something which is again called as the hedgehog theory, which links in exactly well with the Ikigai concept, which is about love, which is about passion, which is about what you can pay it for and what you're good at. It's all kind of linked in the West and the East, and the old ancient parable of the hedgehog. So this is exactly what I had to say today, and the time is, yeah. So I think I did it really quickly. I'd like to leave you with this, with this particular image, which has a lot of wealth of meaning in it. And if practiced well, it can really lead to your Ikigai. So on that note, friends, I'd like to open the floor for question answers, leaving this particular image in, and there we go.
Wow, that was awesome. That was a perfect follow-up from last week. Thank you so much. It's so cool because there's a woman who turned 109 here yesterday in San Diego, and they were interviewing her too about what was the secrets? She didn't really say a whole lot, but I think your list of 10 pretty much summarizes that.
Yeah. So
I have a question. If
yes.
if no one else does, I'm always full of questions.
Sure.
With the list of 10, do you coach clients to, is there like, it's a short list, but it's a big list, right? And
Yes.
so how does someone, if they're maybe only doing like 5 out of 10, how does someone grow into that list?
So, so if you see all of these lists, many of these points in the list point out to various values. If you, for example, point number 6 and 8, it is actually into gratitude and humility. Which is smiling, giving thanks to anything. Point number 9 is the power of now, which is Eckhart Tolle. Which is living in the present moment. So each of these are quite powerful. If you look at it, it has a lot of people have put the same words using a lot of acronyms and have become very famous. Okay. So, if you look at, point number 9, it's actually power of now. And the person has become, quite famous just with that one statement. So it's possible that we may not be able to, follow each of them, but I normally, coach people to at least start somewhere and see if we can. Each of them are independent. It's not linked. So even if you do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, as you mentioned, you can reach somewhere. So that's where it is.
That's awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? I mean, please feel free to take yourself off mute and ask.
I just want to say that I just love what you shared, because I really feel like this is what my life's been about. It's kind of confirmed a lot of where things are at, because I've been realizing more and more like what my mission was like in probably 1986 was to empower people. I didn't really know how. And I started with psychology, then I got into my own journey because I was not in touch with my body at all. So I learned a body work called orthobionomy, which is all about helping people connect, but it's always been how to empower people and on this grand scale. And so each thing has come to me has kind of done that. So I feel like I'm never going to retire. I already feel like I've already been doing what I've been loving. I haven't necessarily been great at follow through because I've had health issues and stuff, but it's just really awesome. So anyway, I just, I know the more I really fine tune it, but it's just beautiful. So that's.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. Thank you. It's very deep. The philosophy is very deep. Thank you, Lucy. What about Lisa? You have any thoughts around it? Sugam, any thoughts?
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
The question is like, so something like where we are good at and something what really need. So actually, this two thing is very hard to like connect, because when I'm I'm training to some like in my classes as well, or even to the trainer. So really, some stiff body people like they join my class. So there to motivate them, to encourage them for doing whatever the asanas I'm telling. Like they are just expecting within a month they just want to do the hard asanas and the advanced asanas, or like they want to feel that experience the power of yoga. The thing is like they are not good at the practicing yoga, but that is really need what they want to do it. So how to connecting these two things there, and how to encouraging them by going through this model, because I really found like the model is very good. Even it's not only helping a person, like even my clients as well, they can be get the value out of it.
Certainly. Actually, this answer can be best answered by yourself, to be frank. That's what I normally tell everybody who comes, because you understand your business better than Lucy or me or Lisa or Louis, etc. So I understood what you're trying to say. People who are a little stiff, and since you're doing yoga and I know what you do, how do you really you need to kind of see how you can tell them the reasons for doing it and what they can gain, and see if the passion comes into them. So it's really your experience. I suggest, you kind of sleep over this, for a couple of days. It's very deep. It will take a few months to understand this, and see
I
if you
think
can
I
come up.
think first, yeah, first I should start doing it. Then
Yeah,
then only I'll be
yeah,
understanding.
correct,
Thank
correct.
you.
Good. Louis, you want to add
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, next week I'm going to be focusing on, how do you pick two things, one personal, one professional, that obviously supports this, what Deepak talked about today. What is your Ikigai? Is that how you say it? Ikigai?
Yeah, Ikigai, yes.
I love that. I mean, to me, it just stands out to, why are you here? What is your purpose on this planet? And
Right.
that's a pretty deep topic. However, you don't have to be great to start. You just have to start somewhere to be great and figuring that out and taking one bite out of the apple or the elephant. We'll do that next week. We'll set 2 goals so you can start thinking about that. Whether it's it's not too late to set something for November if you haven't already, because not everyone's into goal setting. And one personal, one professional, but definitely make it surrounding this topic. And what's your why? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What's going to get you excited about life? And then we'll break it down into we'll do kind of like a mind mapping exercise of how to pick the actions that are going to help create those outcomes for you. And you could pick it for 2020 if you want to look ahead to the future. A lot of people in America, they wait until January 1st and then they quit on their goals because it's not really truly their focus every day, every week, every month. It's about those daily, weekly, monthly activities that are critical. And so, sorry, I didn't start my video. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. So I hope that keeps what we've talked about today and last week going for you guys. And I think ultimately this is an ongoing journey, like you said, Deepak. So
Yes.
we'll probably always come back to this and remind you. So this is the foundation for what we're doing daily, weekly, and monthly. So thank you so much again.
So what about, I just thought I'll hand over the mic to Vincent. Vincent, are you here?
Hi, good morning, good evening. This is Vincent. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was trying to connect in between. I lost the contact. Now I just re-enter.
Oh, no problem. So you're seeing the right slide in front of you, if you can see it. So
Yes. I can see.
that's called as Ikigai, what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, what the world needs. So
Yeah.
that's where it is, So Vincent also is a hospitality trainer, and somewhere you need to find your Ikigai.
Yes. I'll go through it.
Yeah, good.
Thank you, Deepak, for inviting me to this platform.
Sure,
I'm very
sure.
glad to see you. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important too for you guys, if there's ever anything you want to hear us talk about, because right now we're coming from our expertise and our places of passion. Our Ikigai is to really inspire and educate and empower you. If there's anything that comes up for you in the next week, if you know Deepak, send him an email. If you know me, send me a message, and we can always, we want this to be valuable for you, and we want you to bring friends. Right now, we're keeping this free. So we really want you to be bringing friends so that we can, make that impact at a deeper level.
I have one question, and it just has to do with what I see a lot, like in the body work I've been doing for years and years, and a lot of givers, a lot of people who want to help people, they have a really hard time feeling like they deserve to be paid for it. So that's something that, having that piece where they can price themselves accordingly and they can, believe they deserve it. So that's something that I think it gets in the way for people, or how to address that.
So what I heard is, can you repeat that? What I heard is you have a lot of people who can be paid for.
Well, a lot of people don't feel like they're worth it. Like I get a lot of people who feel like in the helping profession, I've been doing this work orthomyotomy for a very long time. And one of the patterns I saw in a lot of people who are very good at it, they just didn't feel like they could charge for it, or they didn't want to charge for it. So you get that piece where it's what they love to do, they're good at it, but they don't believe that they should be paid for it. And I think that comes in a lot in a lot of areas of life. So I'm wondering how you work with that.
So yeah, in fact, I come across a lot of people who don't know their worth, and they charge, quite low, or for whatever reason. That's because they're not very clear on what the world needs. They're not clear on the value of the work. They're not clear on the returns that people are getting, on the value that people are getting with their work. And if they can put this particular value of, they understand the returns, or they understand the value of the work, then automatically, they will feel not guilty of, or they feel more happy in charging, whatever they feel they can charge. So I come this in my profession, in training as well as in healing. I see people charging from very low to very, very high. And the people who charge high are the people who tell me, I feel I make a big impact in people's life. They're very confident about it. And the people who charge low are the ones who say that I need to be engaged every day. I can't sit at home, I need to go every day. So it's two different dimensions of thinking. And the people who charge, high are very focused. They believe in what they do. And I think this is the quadrant. They very clearly know what their niche market is looking for, and what value they can change, they can bring in.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. That's one of the reasons for me in health and fitness, and I got burned out, is a lot of people don't charge what they're worth. And it's rare, actually, for example, to find a yoga instructor who would charge what they're worth, right? A lot of times they just want to help people. Like you said, what the world needs, they focus on that as opposed to their Ikigai. And that's, that's where, a lot of healers actually have health issues. And it's because they're not being true to themselves. They're not asking for what they want. They're giving. Oh, wait, what about me? And that's where I have an autoimmune disease, because I was that person. And so it's pretty fascinating. That could be a topic all in of its own.
So any other passing thoughts from Vincent, Sugam, or Lisa? Lisa was here. I don't know if she's still there.
She's in a waiting room, so she couldn't verbalize or vocalize, and she just said she really appreciated the 10 actions connecting to soul purpose. So again, a great, powerful follow-up to last week. So yeah, if you missed last week, or if you miss a week, you are going to miss an ongoing continuity component. So I know we have a couple of people that aren't on this week that were on last week. So please make sure, to lock this in. We're not going to change the time again. We promise.
That is good.
So
we are not changing time. Yeah, it will work for us.
Yes.
Yeah, and feel free to invite people from Europe, invite people from US, invite people from Africa. We really want to grow this month and have a global community that, ultimately will grow it. I do have a private Facebook group. I don't put anyone in unless they're truly committed. And in December, we will start charging for this coaching and training and support. And there's ongoing support and tools inside of the Facebook group. So that's where there will be potential networking possibilities as we build this global community through Facebook too. So just some other hidden elements and benefits of being a part of this.
True.
I want to say it's awesome seeing you all over in the other part of the world, and seeing your smiling faces and just your passion and what you're about. So it's really awesome.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, Lucy.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was
Awesome.
really awesome talking to all of you.
Have a great day, guys. We'll see you next week. Go ahead, Deepak.
Thanks, Louise. And I think it was great. Thank you so much for all of you to join in. And we hope that over the course of the week, we will kind of define our Ikigai. And we meet next Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 9:30 p.m. India. So that's
True.
how it's
So
running
actually,
right now.
our timing is the same.
Yeah. So that's where it is.
Mhm.
So with that, I think thank you one and all for joining in, and we'll see you next week. Sounds good, Louis?
Thank you.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner sounds awesome. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great
Thank you.
weekend.
Thank
All
you.
of you
Thank
have a
you.
good time.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. 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 Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Thursday Call. So we've been having the series of calls in the last 3 months or so, and we've covered a range of topics. It's a great learning for me and Louis also. We're going along this journey, and so today I thought we'll do something unique, and that's something called as a lean business canvas. So you can hear me, right, all of you?
Yes,
Yes.
perfect. Perfect.
Okay,
Yep. I just
good.
don't see if it's recording or not. Did I?
It
Do you
is.
have the? Oh, perfect. Okay.
It is, yeah. So that's fine. And so let's look at lean business canvas. And I know this is a very common term, and LBC, it's come across as a unique way of in management schools. And I had actually taught this in a couple of management schools, and I found it very interesting, which is why I kind of brought it here. It has a lot of practical advantages to this particular the way of running business. So it's called as the lean canvas or the lean business canvas, and it's pretty simple. It actually just consists of the 9 steps, and this methodology suggests that if you cover these 9 steps in a sequence, you can have a business up and going uh, in all its successful pathways as easy as possible. And the first step, if you see right to the left, is finding a problem that you need to solve, and then the second is customer segments, right on the far right, and then you come in the center, which is the unique value proposition, and then you move on to the solution, and then something called the unfair advantage. I'll come to that later. And then we go into revenue streams, which is sixth, and then the cost structure, which is seventh, the key performance metrics, which is eighth, and the channels, which is 9. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm just going to run through these 9 sections, and then I'm probably going to throw it up to Q&A. So that's the plan for today. So we're going to start with problems. So what LBC really says is you need to find a problem. In order to start a business, you need to find a problem that you can solve. And unless you find one or two or three key problems that you can solve or do in a better manner, you may not do it may not be a very viable business, or it may not go a long run. So you see all businesses, they try to solve problems. Uber tries to solve the problem of consumers trying to find a taxi, or hotel chains, or travel, or whatever it is, food industry. They all try to solve a particular problem which is inherent. It could be even road construction, whatever it is. So finding a problem is the key thing to starting a business. Something you need to identify problems, and it's all around us. If you look carefully, there are problems all around us which people are facing, and you need to identify various strings of problems, and then you go to the next step. So it's a sequential methodology. Having found 8 or 10 problems in your hand, then you try to find the next step, and that is the customer segments for each of these. And here's where you start to kind of filter down out of the 20-30 problems that you see around you, which are the customer segments each of them attract, and are you interested or in kind of going for this particular customer segment. So the customer segment could be demography, could be gender, it could be geography, it could be logistics, it could be anything. So you need to identify the right customer segment, and see which of the problems caters to which segment, and then decide which of them are you willing to pursue. So it's like a conical
thing coming down. So out of the 20-30 problems, narrowing down to maybe a few problems that you may be interested to handle. And then we come to something called as uniqueness. So is there something unique that you have, which can differentiate you uh, or in terms of your own inherent strengths, which can ensure that you can address to those customer segments. So, for example, if like a friend of mine is a women's entrepreneur coach, so she's identifying a very niche segment, and she herself is a woman, so it kind of makes sense, and there's something unique about it. Or it could be something in sports, and so there's a problem that a person found in sports for teenagers, and so there's a exact segment that he's identified, and of course he's been an ex-footballer in the state level, so that makes some sort of a unique proposition that he has to offer. So uniqueness is important. Do you stand out of the crowd in this particular area? And that brings us to the fourth point, and which is the solution. So it's only once the first three are done, we dive into the solution. A lot of times we come up with the solution first, and that's where the problem is, that we need to go through this particular sequence of identifying various problems. Are they really worth addressing? So that's the first thing. Are they really important, and are they big and audacious problems which the society is facing? And then which part of the society is facing it? That's the customer segment. And then coming to your own uniqueness in this particular niche segments that you have, and then you come up to the solution. And the solution could be in any manner, but again, you could have multiple solutions for the particular problem, and we have again various case studies around this. So this leads us to the something in the fifth called as the unfair advantage. Now, unfair advantage is a little bit different from uniqueness. So uniqueness is our own strength in the particular problem and solution scenario. But unfair advantage pertains to possibly the environment which is helping you at that particular stage. Maybe some government policies, or something in the environment, maybe lack of competition or disparate competitions. There is some unfair advantage that you possibly have, which makes it very difficult for others to catch up with you. So you already have an edge over everybody else. It could be even maybe man developing a large manufacturing unit, or a coding cycle, or a mobile app, or whatever it is. So you're kind of ahead of everybody else, and that's in the lean business canvas. There's a very critical one, which is called as the unfair advantage. And here is where you really kind of start getting the confidence that yes, this is something that can that you can take it ahead into the next stage. So you again go through the sequence, finding a problem, and then the various customer segments, the uniqueness that you have, the solutions that you can offer, and then the fifth is the unfair advantage that you have. And then we come to the sixth one, which is the various revenue streams. So you could have various revenue streams. If it's coaching, you could have coaching, maybe offline, online, multiple groups, or multiple ways of coaching, etc. Or if it's selling to products, it could be products, or it could be services, or in various ways in which you can get the revenue. So revenue is different from channel. So revenue streams are various ways in which you could generate this particular revenue, and that comes only once you have decided your solution and understood what your advantages are. That leads us to this revenue. And then the seventh, eighth, ninth is well beyond that, which is the cost structure, because it's important when you run a business to understand what are the costs, because else profits may not come in. So what are the various costs that we have in this particular business structure? And you need to list it down and ensure that you're well within the range. And then that leads us to the eighth one, which is performance metrics. On an ongoing basis, trying to understand what are the various metrics that you would try to identify
to ensure that you succeed. And these are things that we define on our own to ensure that it can be measured on a weekly, monthly, or a quarterly basis. And finally, ninth one is the various channels of distribution of the product. It could be a product or a service or an e-service or whatever it is, but various channels, and we keep increasing channels. So I'll just go back to the start. So, you found various problems. You walk on the street, or you go in the flight, or you walk around and you see various problems that people are facing. This is how actually businesses are found. Even if you see Alibaba, and I'm going to run this video soon, these are how businesses are really, grounded and found, that they have detected a problem that exists. There's a gentleman in India who found a gap in the terms of foreign exchange currency, the way it was handled in India, and he founded a e-service portal. And at the age of 60, when he had retired from the bank, he was on a holiday, and he just realized that there is this particular problem that people are having with handling forex, foreign exchange quite easily. And he identified his customer segments. There was uniqueness because he had 40 years experience in this particular industry, and he's retired. And so he came up with a series of solutions on the e-commerce platform. Huge unfair advantage, nobody in the field, and he had a lot of knowledge around it at that particular age. And multiple revenue streams. So he's in multiples of millions upwards that companies are running. I think he sold it recently. And so in 6 years or 7 years, he made his few $1 million. That's where it is. So this is exactly the sequence that normally people run it, but I like this model because Lean Business Canvas gives this kind of a structure to it. So it allows us to understand what exactly we're doing, what we're doing, and it's good to just kind of sometimes get to basics. So I thought I'll just quickly share this video, and this is a very interesting video which you can just see. Yeah.
Should be optimistic, always optimistic. A great entrepreneur is optimistic for the future. And you have to ask what problem you can solve, how you solve it are different from the others, why you can do better than the others.
So if you see this, although I'm sure he's not part of this LBC model, but it runs the same trend. He's looking at what problems there are, how you can solve it, and how you can be different from others. That's a key thing.
You have to find a group of people working together with you. Those people believe the same vision. Those people coming to join you not because it's a job. It's because they believe the dream, they believe the mission, and they believe the vision. And don't have to find, there's no best people in the world. There's the best people is always working with you in your team. And train the team, work with the team, the team also will train you. Do not think what I will get. You have to ask what I will give. Should I win in 3 years or 10 years? If you have a great idea, prepare for 10 years. You're lucky if you win in 1 year. But most people will not have this opportunity. Don't say, I want to win next month. I will succeed next year. Impossible. Forget about it. If you think I will win this in 3 years, prepare for 5 years. My first round money I gathered from 18 founders, $50,000 US. We thought this $50,000 can last for 10 months. We even count every cent we spent, but only last less than 4 months. We're almost bankrupt. When you know what will you give up, then you will be able to get something. One of the reasons why we succeed 18 years ago, because internet was not hot at that time. E-commerce was so cold. Nobody believed it, but we believe it. We don't care what other people say. We think it has the future. We think It will help people. So we started. When everybody say yes, there's no chance for you. So be unique. Use your mind. Think why you can do better, why you can do different, why you can last for 10 years, why the other people can only last for 1 year. Don't wait for the environment to be ready. Don't wait for all the policy ready. When everything's ready, there's no opportunity for you. You have to move faster before the government take action. You know, if I do this, if the government say everything's ready, you should move to the other area because there's no chance for you.
So, I found this particular video. I've seen a lot of Jack Ma's videos, but I think this sinks in perfectly well with the lead business canvas. And as I said, I am sure he doesn't follow this LBC, but so LBC is something that everybody follows. I mean, it's kind of created out of all successful businessmen the way they do it. And if you see everything that he said, it was finding a problem, being unique. When everything's ready for you, step away, and that's what is called as unfair advantage. So only step in when you have an unfair advantage, when nobody's ready and all are thinking in some different direction. That's when you start doing your particular thing that you particularly believe in. He, of course, he went a lot of steps ahead. He mentioned about surrounding yourself with good friends. That, of course, is, we'll cover it, in a later area. So surrounding good strengths, understanding the why you're doing things and all the stuff. But a lot of the points, is straight out of the LBC canvas, which is why I thought I'll share this particular video. So I just thought I'll take a pause, and allow you all to give your thoughts. I'm sure all of you have been doing some kind of business in a similar model, knowingly or unknowingly. But it's good to have a structure. This is how it should be run. So just want to take your thoughts on this particular model, and and then we can have an interaction.
I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. That was great. I mean, that's a true business model thought process right there. A lot of people in sales, unfortunately, have not been trained with that. And that long-term mindset that he talks about, don't think about where you'll be in 1 year. Think about where you'll be in 10 years. And that's part of the 12-week year philosophy too. And it's just, Rome wasn't built in a day. So I really like that.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you. It's a long-term thing. Lisa, what's your thoughts on it?
I've seen this model and I've used this model in previous businesses. And for me, it's identifying that uniqueness. Sometimes we need to get input from other people because we don't see it as unique. It's because it's our gift and our talent. So, but we don't necessarily see it that way. Some things come super easy for me. I have an ability to put out solutions for people and create simple systems, and that's a skill for me. I see it that way, but I didn't know that there was such great value to that. So finding your own uniqueness, sometimes you need to get some help on that, and then be able to develop that into a solution. Like, how do you solve a problem for somebody? So that's what I'm working on with my business right now, is how do I use my talent to create that travel solution for somebody?
And that's a great. Thank you so much, Lisa. And that's a very powerful question, which he mentioned between, and I use it a lot in my workshops, is, what can I give? A lot of times we focus on what can I get. And I normally tell my participants, take a piece of pen and paper and, and let's start writing, what can I give? And when the answer to, a lot of things that you're saying comes from that powerful question. If for 7 minutes, you can just keep writing, what are the various things that I can give? And that then your talent will come out, your solutions will come out, everything will come out, which is unique to you as a person. And that then should fit into the particular problem, which should make it a part of the solution. And it will certainly be unique, because it's something that you can give, and not me or Louis or anybody else. It's you personally can give, which makes it again an unfair advantage. So in this particular video, if you notice somewhere in between, he did mention this, and it's a very powerful tool. Instead of asking what can I get, which is normally what businesses, you have this movie, I remember, it's a sports movie, and the dialogue is show me the money, so show me the money. Until then, I can't, so that's, but it should be the other way around, it should be, what can I give? It should not be what can I get. And all true successful people have unknowingly, knowingly have, kept focusing on this particular question of, what can I give? And they have turned out successful. So that's where it is.
Great, that's good input. Thank you.
And I think the one thing that I know Lisa and I have learned this, and you guys have learned this too, Deepak and your team, and it still comes down to, yes, knowing your unique value, owning it, owning your greatness in the moment, and just going out there and doing it anyway, no matter what. That's what has worked for me, is just being open, receptive, saying, how can I serve this person? But just being authentic, transparent. And most people in sales and in business, especially if they're newer, they struggle with that. And they come across either, with fear, scarcity, anxiety, and it just takes repetition, right? But they forget about, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So can you speak to that at all in regards to a newer salesperson? Maybe they're not necessarily new to sales, but new to a company, until they figure out their unique value. And for those people, because I recruit a lot of salespeople for my organization, and they either have zero sales background, or it's just a different product, different service that they're learning about, and they think too much in their head, and they don't come from the heart and believe in themselves, which is the most important thing, that head-heart connection. And I know you're an expert on that, so can you speak more to that component?
So absolutely. In fact, the key thing here in this particular lead business is the uniqueness and the unfair advantage. And that's where each person should introspect within themselves. And when I say introspect, go deep down and really come up with that particular question of what are the activities that they can do which will keep them happy. And that's the passion. No person can work too long on something which is not their passion. They can do it for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years, but they'll burn out at the end. So each person needs to introspect, go deep within themselves, and try to come out. What are those activities that I can do, which are my passion? Which something which I really love, and that's the heart. And which I really truly love with the heart. And then the head has to follow the heart. You have to then find that particular activities within your sphere, which will make it into the problem solution. If you remember, this is something I touched upon in the Ikigai concept of trying to what is the one thing which will make you jump out of bed every morning. That's Ikigai. Why do you jump out of bed every morning? So that has to be really, really articulated, and you can be you can do it once or twice, which with something which you don't like. You may do it, as I said, a few days, a few weeks, a couple of months, but beyond that, it becomes very difficult. So new salespeople who come in, they need to really find out deep in themselves what their passion is, and align their passion to the business strategy. So that's very important. Align the passion to the business plan and the particular strategy. Like I've seen a lot of videos on Samuel Beans, which was one of the key people in iBoomerang, and I truly believe his passion is motivational speaking. He loves it. I can see it. I can feel it. He can speak for hours on end, even without getting paid. So passion is something where a person is willing to do it, just for the sake of doing it. So and that's a key to it. So what are those key elements you would do even if you're not paid? And I think that's what really defines you. But the tricky part is then identifying which are the areas of the problems, and then aligning your passion to ensure that you can fit in to get the right solutions, which will lead to the final output. So it's all like a jigsaw puzzle, is how I look at it.
Awesome. Great. And Lisa, I have a question for you. Since you showed up today, showing up is 80% of the success of life. And are you going to be on next Thursday's call? I'm going to be leading the call. Deepak has been so gracious and wonderful to lead these first 3 weeks of January. And I'll be leading next Thursday. And I have a couple of ideas in mind for topics. And I'd be open to your feedback. Do you think you'll be on next Thursday, Lisa?
I have a plan to be on. I intend to be on. My job situation may change that, but so far I'm holding the space for it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I was planning on, either talking about lead generation, which I know I have trained you on before, but there's always more to cover, or talking about just the sales process, how to go from creating that lead, finding that lead, and then bringing it home and closing on it, which we call that sales mountain. Do either of you have a
It's perfect. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Yeah, I lost
preference
Lisa
on?
in between. Yeah, I think Lisa, what's your thought on the sales lead process?
For me personally, I do a fair amount of networking. So lead generation is just getting out there and meeting people. I mean, I can stand in the grocery line. It's taking that lead and actually getting them to close that I think for me personally is something that I need more direction on. And I think that that's true of most people, because many of us, as we know, we can sit down and write a list of 100 to 200 people. And then how come that list doesn't turn into closed transactions? There's some sort of a disconnect there. Yeah. And I think I see it in many industries.
Perfect. Wonderful. And that's really my passion. It's one of my things that I really excel at. So I will train on that next week. And Lisa, one thing too, I'll remind you and all the listeners, if you're listening to the recording, please, yes, hold on, let me finish this one. We always value your referrals. Please bring prospects, people that you know in business that you trust and respect, and especially for you, Lisa, that's what I call a unique value or gift of item of value that you can use as a way to follow up with leads for your business without being always hitting them over the head with the same thing or the same topic, or man, what can I do to follow up with this person? Well, now use this every Thursday as a leverage, as a tool. That's why I'm allowing my salespeople to come on this and enjoy the fruits of this, as long as you're building and taking, your business to the next level. This is one of the hidden values that can really bring value to those people, and they're going to be super grateful for you. And it's free for 2 weeks. Then they have to decide if it's worth it to them to stay on. And if they stay on and pay us, you get a referral fee. So go ahead, Lacey, you had one more item that you were mentioning, I think.
Just to elaborate on what I was talking about for that topic, I I was at a networking event yesterday, and the word fear kept coming up. You know, there was an open group conversation, and I heard the word fear 6 times. And so there's some sort of a fear in lead follow-up that needs to be addressed, if that helps you.
Oh yeah, I can talk about that all day long. So yeah, we'll talk about that. Obviously, it might even be just throwing this out there. It might need to be a 2-part series, week 1, week 2, because this is a massive, massive topic. So just planting that seed for you, which is another reason why if you can invite people to next week and they can come both weeks, that'll be powerful.
Great, thanks.
Powerful.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Deepak. Really, really, really valued your content today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Louis and Lisa, and for all of those who are listening in to this. Lean Business Canvas is the way to go. In fact, mine also will be a 2-part series, which I will do it probably next month, the second part of the LBC, taking it in to the next level. But looking forward to hear more about sales and lead generation next week. So with that, we sign off on this beautiful Thursday, and looking forward to see you again next Thursday. Till then, all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.